Hey students, welcome to this week's conversation about understanding our strengths, skills, abilities, and how the Strengths Finder can help us do so. But before we dive into the normal content, I want you to take a look at this image. Okay? Do you understand what it's trying to convey here? It's that different viewpoints can absolutely alter our perception of what something is. It might appear to us like an entirely different object, and we might even try to convince somebody who's viewing it from that other angle that they're completely wrong, that they're in fact seeing this. But the reality is both realities are true. It's this principle of subjective reality versus objective reality. This is not a theoretical, philosophical question. This is just the reality, is that two people can experience the same thing from the same viewpoint even, but have a completely different interpretation of it as well. And why do I bring that up in reference to your strengths and skills? Well, it's because if you only have one singular viewpoint evaluating what your strengths and skills and abilities are, it's probably a very incomplete picture. And the best way to get a better understanding of yourself, your strengths, your skills, is to have as many different perspectives give you information and data about it, and then a more clearer image begins to emerge. Your friends and family are a good example. I'm sure that if you pull out your phone, and maybe you'll do this, maybe I'll have you do it in class if you're in person. It's a good idea. I'm going to do that. So you online students should do it too. If you text your friends and family and say, hey, my professor asked me to ask you what my top 5 strengths and skills are, what would they be? I guarantee it would be different than what you wrote down for yourself. There might be some threads, there might be some patterns and some parallels, but I guarantee you'll find some answers that you weren't expecting. Because strengths and skills, such a ambiguous and contextually dependent definition. I mean, something could be perceived as a strength and a skill to somebody, and that could be perceived as a weakness in a different context. So, for example, somebody's extremely detail-oriented. Well, that could be great for a designer or an artist, but for somebody in event management who needs to get through the checklist in a shortened amount of time, perfection's not an option. And so that could be perceived as a weakness. We also have to understand that a strength and a skill might not just be what we do, but how we do it. And so that's where the Strengths Finder comes in. The Strengths Finder is the best career-focused personality, strength, skill assessment I've seen. And I've done tons of them. I've done, Myers-Briggs and Indigo and DISC and Big Five and, all those, just to name a few. And in fact, if you want to learn even more about yourself, head down to the extra credit module on Canvas in the modules, and there's a bunch more you can take, and I'll give you extra credit for doing it. Because like I said, I want you to get as many lenses and perspectives on this subject of you as humanly possible. So the Strengths Finder will help you not just understand what you do. In fact, it's less about that. It's much more about how you solve problems, how you do certain things, and what areas or what circumstances that would be beneficial. And with this information, you will be better equipped to explore the careers and majors out there. I want you to view yourself in a new lens that's more objective, less biased, and you'll learn a lot about yourself. I guarantee it. So, if you haven't taken the Strengths Finder, please go back and do that. Otherwise, let's go ahead and move forward with the rest of the content for this week.